So, the importance of and utility of blood cultures in directing antimicrobial therapy has been demonstrated quite consistently in the global north. As you can see from the above study, 30% of the patients admitted to the hospital had their antibiotic regimen altered as a result of blood cultures that were obtained. So, medical services in industrialized nations rely on results of such individual tests to direct therapy in instances of pneumonia. Not surprisingly, this is blood cultures have been widely recommended in developing countries as well. However, such routine laboratory testing may be impossible in the global south because of lack of microbiological services not being available, and overall, this blood cultures use a lot of resources, both financially and in terms of laboratory staff. To investigate the utility of blood cultures in patients in the global south, CDC and Duke have conducted a study on bloodstream infections among patients in sub-Saharan Africa and Southeast Asia. Fever was chosen as the initial case definition to enroll patients in the study, and blood cultures were obtained for all of the patients presenting with fever because of high positive predictive value between the presence of bloodstream infection and febrile patients. Well, in Thailand, about half of consecutive febrile patients admitted to teaching hospitals were found to have bloodstream infections, while in Malawi, approximately one quarter of patients had bloodstream infections. In both countries, Mycobacterium tuberculosis, Streptococcus pneumonia, and Salmonella species were the predominant causes of bloodstream infections in these patients. To date, we don't have any data from the Global South about the utility of blood cultures in patients suspected to have pneumonia. But one approach which has been proposed by the CDC is that blood cultures be routinely obtained among febrile patients presenting with suspected pneumonia to teaching hospitals. This will result in both targeted therapies for the patients admitted to these sentinel hospitals and also as a repository of microbiological data, which can then be used to answer this question more specifically. So, unfortunately, I don't have a straightforward answer for you for what to do as far as patients coming to the hospital with suspected pneumonia. And I think the best answer that we have from available data is if the patient is present, if the patient has a fever and they're admitted to a teaching hospital, it is likely that there's overall, at the very least, a public health benefit and probably a patient directed benefit in obtaining blood cultures at the time of presentation.